Hey! Welcome to another edition of Purpose for Forever.
Forever.
Forever, ever. Um, I want to thank you guys for rocking with us this evening. And as you can see by the title, we're going to talk about going through seasons. And it's going to be a rousing conversation.
Rousing.
So this is your opportunity to share. Sharing is caring. Sharing is caring. She's sharing right now.
Yes, I am. We're not supposed to be sharing already.
Sharing is caring. So
for the rest of the class.
We'll be right back after this.
Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for forever. Won't let nothing ever tear us apart. Me and you together, our purpose for...
Oh, you won't.
Hi.
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Whether you're trying to up your production or just go live, StreamYard is the place to be. Go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Flocknote. Start your free text community now at bit.ly free text now. That's bit.ly free text now. I'm sorry. All right, back in the scene. All right.
Oh, yeah, we're back.
So today we're talking about
Why do I
going
feel like
through.
I'm not in the camera? Right?
Yes, I don't know.
It's a little crooked or something.
There you go. Better.
Yes. Okay. Pretty much.
All right. So going through the seasons. What does that mean to you to mentor?
Well, here's the thing. Our title should have been kind of weathering the storm.
Okay.
Seasons change. That was the initial thought when I gave it to my producer over here. So this is kind of what we're going to talk about. I just want to make a public service announcement ahead of time. This conversation very well may land me in the hot seat and in trouble and in time out for the rest of the week. But I'm willing to share my hardships and my struggles with you guys, even at the detriment to myself. I am fully committed. So tonight we are definitely going to have this conversation.
All right.
Are you ready yet?
I'm sharing. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Okay. So my motivation behind this conversation is because this is something that we I would say have struggled with, like even recently. It's something that we have not totally mastered navigating through. Like in my mind, I know all the proper things that should happen, and I know, the great things you're supposed to say. But just like if you're walking down the street, you leave your house and it's sunny, and you get halfway down the street and it starts pouring rain, you are disoriented.
Right.
You're looking for shelter.
Right.
You're immediately thinking, let me get out of this now.
Right.
That is me. That is the problem that I tend to have.
Go.
So
sorry. All right, boom, we got some guys. Hey, what's up, Keita?
That is my struggle. So, like, in regular life, you have 4 seasons. You have winter, spring, summer, fall. And I feel like all those seasons can be put into a relationship.
Right. Okay.
So yes, all those seasons can fit into a relationship. Only thing is, typically winter's about 3 months, maybe tack on a few extra weeks. In a relationship, it's kind of like dog years, because those 3 months can feel like 3 years if it's currently winter in your relationship. What do I mean by winter? I mean, in my experience, winter can be everything that winter entails. It can be cold,
Right.
meaning there can be distance between you and your spouse.
Mhm.
It can even be snowing in your relationship, a
Right.
big pile of snow in between the two of you. And no matter how many times you try to get over it, to connect, it just does not. You just can't reach each other. It's like
Right.
it's a big mountain of snow between the two of you, and you can't reach each other.
Right.
So when winter happens in your relationship, technically there are a few things that you should do. But I'm gonna tell you what I tend to do first because I don't always get it right. Actually, I frequently get it wrong because when he becomes distant or when it gets cold,
Right.
the first thing that I do is attempt to shelter and warm myself.
Mhm.
And I think that is a human reaction,
Right.
kind of like self preservation. I'm thinking, well, if you over there and you don't want to be bothered,
Right.
then fine. I'll figure out, how to make it warm for myself. And that works initially. It works for a little while. But like I was saying, it can be like dog years. So
Right.
what could be 2 weeks can turn now into 4 weeks because he's over there
Right.
and now I'm over here. And although we're warm separately, in the middle is like an ice glacier.
Right.
So sorry, my eyes started. So initially, yes, your first reaction is for self-preservation. When indeed the first reaction should be trying to climb the mountain and to connect. And sometimes that takes several attempts.
Right.
Me, you might get at least 2 good attempts out of me.
Right. Two.
2. And I'm like I said, I'm heading to my own corner. I'm getting my own blanket, and I'm gonna provide my own warmth until you decide,
Right.
you want to get your life together. And
Right.
and to be honest, it happens to everybody. There are different seasons that are
Right.
going to happen in your relationship. There are different things that's going to take place. You're going to have that summer season
Mhm.
where it's all hot and heavy, and every time you close, you just feel the heat, the steam coming off each other. Before you know it, you always touching and
Right.
rubbing. You're going to have those times.
Right.
And you enjoy the summer so much that it seems like you're so short.
Right.
And then it's like, well, last week we was all hot and heavy and rubbing.
Right.
And now this week, you're way over there.
Right.
And it happens, like I said, it happens to the best of us. It could happen in your marriage.
Right.
Honestly, seasons can happen within your friendships.
Right.
It could happen even with your children, with your parents. Things change, and sometimes people are going through things. Sometimes people are experiencing too much, and there's a shift in the atmosphere between you two.
Right. So I'll say what when seasons change or relating your relationship to seasons, um we talk about ourselves, and we always, and as purposeful forever, we always say we're not here to, and this is my word, therapize anybody. We just talk about our journey, and hopefully you get some nuggets out of what we've learned and going through.
Right.
So we're not like the coaches. We're here to just live, share our journey, and expose all of our foolish mistakes along the way. So for me, like, so if Sam is going through something, he said this ties. Oh, what if people won't change, right?
Well,
I mean,
the
it's
thing
not-
is, seasons will change.
Yeah, change.
Like it does change, but I feel like your seasons are, a lot of it is tied to you.
Right.
Tied.
So let me just say, it's part of what I'm going
Don't
to say.
tell me to shut up.
Oh,
Go ahead.
oh, it's so seasons change because we go through things, and our emotions, based on situations, and your partner may need something in this space, in that moment. And when that season changes, if I'm not prepared for that season, then it can be a lot harder. And kind of getting in kind of biblical space, like we're one, right? So the winter comes, it's freezing cold. Instead of me putting this jacket on, I'm trying to keep going out there like it's still summer. Yeah, right. Like remember, like think about the first time when the weather changes and either you didn't check or you were thinking that it's been the same weather the whole time. You walk outside, you're like, when did it turn? Especially Georgia, when did it turn from 80? Now it's 50. So it's understanding when the shift happened, right, and then responding properly. So now I don't care. It's cold. I'm just rocking these shorts. I'm gonna just keep doing what I've been doing instead of shifting for the season and shifting how your relationship is. And the change may be temporary because it's a season. It may be temporary. We may be in a new space. There may be a new want, a new need. What I got last season, I don't need as much. I need this in this season. So it's preparing for that season or that change. And the only way you can know that change or that season is, like you said, you got to climb that mountain. You got to have that conversation. And sometimes when the season changes, you may not be able to explain all of your change. So there's a bit of patience of waiting to see how could I, be in this season with you, or support you in this season. And that's where I've dropped the ball. There's some shifting happening. I change, and honestly, I got a forecast, but I didn't really heed it. I didn't check the app. I was like, oh, we all good. We good. I'm gonna keep wearing these shorts. So it's recognizing that season and adjusting properly. And the word, and I know like this morning, the word change, we can't change people, but they have to want to change themselves. Because that was the when someone sees something wrong, they have to want to change. But with your relationship, when the season shift, I want my relationship to be healthy. I want to do whatever it takes for us to have a healthy relationship. So I want to understand what she's feeling, what's going on. We always say I can't make her happy, but I can at least provide the comfort, provide the security, do my part as far as being there for her. So when she goes through the shift, I'm supporting and not pushing and tugging and thinking like, what's wrong with you? Get out of it, snap out of it. I need you back in summer. I'm going through a winter spurt right now, so I need to be able to be supportive, encouraging, and there in the proper manner, because a lot of times, we want to be there the way I want to be there, with the way I'm comfortable being there. And that's not what she needs at that moment.
But the important part is, like you said, establishing the need,
Right.
where there's a void, like what the need is. It's not just I need this to be over. What can I do to make this be over?
Right.
Because it makes people feel like you're disregarding whatever they're feeling or whatever they're going through.
Right.
So it's important not just to try to get through it. I feel like when seasons happen, when different stuff occurs, there's growth.
Right.
There's certain things that grow in the summer that don't grow in the winter.
Right.
There's certain things that grow in cold air
Right.
that don't, grow when it's warmer. So it's important to know that about your spouse. And how do you know these things? Communication.
Right.
And communication is not always talking.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be able to listen.
Right.
As well. You have to be able to listen, and you have to be able to see,
Right.
because some communication is not verbal.
Right.
No, you are not a mind reader. Nobody's asking you to even pretend to be Cleo. Like, we're not asking you to
call me now. No.
Right. That's not even a realistic expectation.
Right.
And if that's the expectation that your spouse has, then that's another conversation that needs to take place, because that's unrealistic for anyone to read your mind at any time.
Right.
It's just not feasible.
Right.
So you have to be able to communicate what your need is, or at least what your expectation is. And sometimes that is hard.
Right.
Sometimes you're so overwhelmed, that it's kind of like the sound won't come out. Like as a kid, you ever been hit so hard that you like,
Right. Hey, Lisa.
like
Right.
your mouth is open and your body, your soul is crying,
Right.
but there is no sound coming out.
Right.
That can happen in a relationship as well. It's like sometimes things are so big,
Right.
that you can't. It's like you're crying out for help,
Right.
but there's no sound.
Mhm.
So sometimes as a spouse, it is a responsibility,
Right.
to see things and
Mhm.
to look and to listen. Sometimes I can't always tell him exactly what I'm feeling.
Right.
But I will say I'm typically good at being the weather girl. Like I look at things between us and I'm like, I see this on the horizon. I see this coming. And if we don't pack for this, if we don't prepare for this,
Right.
it is going to consume us.
Right.
Hey.
Hey.
The problem is too many times when I'm forecasting the weather, somebody has turned the channel and he is not listening. And then you find yourself in a place where everything is just bottled up. And then someone comes to deliver your jewelry and you just let it all out. I will say that is an outlet. Like, and it's hard. It's even hard sometimes to talk about things. Like I grew up, my mom was the advocate of what happens in this house stays in this house.
Right.
And I've heard that for so long,
Right.
that it is extremely hard for me to ask for help. It's so hard. Like honestly, it's almost like somebody asking me to eat my own arm off. Now, as a wife, where does that leave my spouse? Sometimes I can honestly say probably does leave him a little confused because I need help
Right.
and everything inside me is screaming for it, but I cannot verbalize the words
Right.
always to tell him how to help
Right.
or exactly what I need help in. So sometimes, I expect, maybe unfairly, I can admit that, maybe unfairly, I expect him to look and notice that I need help or that I'm drowning, even though I'm not asking.
Right. So it's being able to see, like I said, having the patience to wait, and wait close, wait by. Because I know there have been times I've like, all right, fine, forget it. Like you're not telling me, I don't know what it is. I'm gonna leave you alone. And that's been my answer a lot. So it's learning to kind of stand by, and just be close, hold a hand, or at least be available. Try to figure out ways to cheer up. Like you feel like going out to eat or something. Maybe we need to break our routine. Sometimes just being in the house for a long period of time, your mind just all think about the same stuff. So I figure change your pattern a little bit. It gives you an opportunity to think about something different or give you a chance to evaluate what you're feeling, and maybe be able to discuss it. So it's a patience game. It's not about getting over it. And I had to, that was, before we even got back together, that was the number one thing I had to learn. It's not about getting over it. And it's approaching it that everything isn't always your fault.
Right.
And that was another thing I had before we started trying to figure out the season. I had to have that conversation with myself. Like, dude, it's not that it's your fault. You know, she just needs you there. You know, like
Although
it,
sometimes it is as well.
right? So
Just so we clear.
really,
I'm just saying.
so it's being there, and being present and having a conversation just to figure out, you know, what can I do? How can I support you? You know, what do you need? And sometimes just being just standing by, just holding her hand or holding their hand, because maybe your man, you know, because men go through certain things too. So it's just being patient and watching, you know, being aware. Because and like we said, so if when a season changes, things they don't always look the same. So my indication of an issue may look differently in this season. My habit may change. That show that I used to like, I stopped watching. You know, like certain things just might seem a little off because I'm just either my interests change, I'm changing a little bit because as you get older, things change. Love languages are real. Yeah, definitely, definitely. So and understanding that, as well as knowing how which love language and knowing what they like, because I I personally believe that can change. you know, like like I might have liked the sense of touch. Now I need admiration. Like I need more words than touch. You know, because I'm getting older. Like I'm feeling like I may not be worth anything. So things change. Like I used to like this, and I now like this. So it's kind of like a reevaluation. So you do have to revisit that. Like anyone has been doing at least 10-year stretch, I'm sure the languages has changed because there's always something else that you're focused on now, you know.
Right.
And
I don't want you to run my feet no more.
right, right.
I want you to sit over there and talk.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
things do change, like because when seasons happen and when things change in your relationship,
Right.
you know, a lot of times things are changing within the person.
Right.
Sometimes there's personal struggles, personal battles, you know, that people are experiencing, personal growth that someone is experiencing, which, as he said, can cause things to change. You know, maybe before if you feed me, I was happy.
Right.
Well, now I feel like my hips is spread, so I don't want to eat no more.
Right.
So stop bringing me sandwiches because
Right.
my hips are getting wider. So like now I need you to talk to me, or now I need you, you know, to rub my head or rub my shoulder.
Right.
But the most important thing is being willing to figure it out.
Right.
Being willing to get in the fight. Like, you know, I've had to tell him before, like, dude, we supposed to be in this together, and I'm in the ring and I'm fighting by myself. Like I'm fighting, you know, whatever may be happening at the time. You know, I'm fighting the outside. I'm fighting, you know, the bills, and I'm fighting with the kids, and I'm fighting with the school, and then we got dogs. And I'm doing all the fighting, and you on the sidelines watching. She said, exactly, when you're with someone for long, things do change.
Right.
Nothing wrong in that. Just learning to adjust
Right.
together. Right. The together part. You have to be willing to get in there. You can't say, well, you used to like this. I don't know why you don't like it no more.
Right.
You changed on me. You know, and the more we grow, the more we age, we should evolve. I'm not saying now you shouldn't wake up to a whole stranger.
Right.
That's a bit much.
Yeah.
But you know, people do change and go through different things that make them see the world differently.
Right.
You know, that's where your love can change, and that's where your love can grow. You know, maybe in this season I want to read more.
Right.
Like I've decided, you know, TV's great, but I'm more into books now.
Right.
You know, that's a greater opportunity for you guys to learn more things about each other, for you to learn things you didn't know. You know, sometimes I sit and listen to him go on about stuff that he done watched, the documentary, and he's like ants. And although I'm bored out of my mind, it's great to watch him be so passionate, you know, about something. And I mean, my hope is always that, you know, me taking the time to listen, you know, makes him feel good about us as well. Because, you know, the point is everything you do should be adding longevity to your relationship. But, you know, we have to understand that there is seasons. There are times where this happens and that happens. I mean, even the Bible talks about there's a time to laugh, cry, die, be born, all those things. And so if all those things are happening for you as a person,
Right.
all those things are also happening within your relationship, because you cannot be connected to a person, truly connected to a person, and not experience things with them.
Right.
Like, I can't tell him I love you. We done had these kids, we done got married, we're sharing a life. And when, things get a little cold or we get a little distant, I'm like, oh, well, let me know when you feel better. I'll be
over there.
Yeah, I'll be over there, until things are better for you.
Right.
I don't think that's anybody's idea of feeling love.
Right.
Or even showing love. Compassion goes a long way.
Definitely.
And like I said, this is something well, Melissa's on here. So, this is something I can say for the last few weeks we have definitely struggled with. And when I say I was up to here with Anthony Walker, yes, I was super frustrated. And although I felt like I communicated very clearly what I needed, I think it kind of shot by him and he didn't catch it. And, like for me, I threw it out there like 2, maybe 3 times. And like, I feel like the ball's in your court. Now, don't get me wrong. I do need to work on that part, but you got to meet me halfway. Like, I'm going to need you to, meet me halfway. We got to be in this together. The one thing no spouse ever wants to feel is alone.
Right.
It's like, I got married so that I didn't have to face things alone.
Right.
So at this point, if you have checked out, we have some real problems. So you have to figure out how to weather the storm together. And there may be those periods where, it's not a lot of communication. For a while, we're not talking. I can come sit on the couch next to you. We can watch this movie. We can even go out to eat. We'll talk a little bit. But, right now I'm still formulating. Things are changing inside of me. My mind is turning.
Right.
I'm figuring out my conversation. So, we'll come back and we'll revisit it.
Right.
But, now I need that space.
Right.
And it's okay to be able to say that. It's okay to say, I need a minute.
Right.
It's okay. I need to take a beat. I need to slow things down. I need to quiet out everything. I need to block stuff out. People meditate, people pray,
Right.
people diary, whatever works for you. And sometimes you might need to do all 3.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna lie, the last couple of weeks I done meditated, I done prayed. I didn't get to diarying because I was scared what I might do with the pen. If I had a sharp object, I might just shank them. So I did do that, but I did cry and all those emotions. But that was a process for me too. Like that was some of the things, that I did need to kind of experience. And I think also for me, it was important for me to talk to somebody else.
Right.
Because sometimes, it's so much togetherness.
Right.
It's like, how do you tell? How do you tell the person, that you're feeling some way about? How do you tell that very same person that you're feeling some way? Sometimes you do need a sounding board. Sometimes you need another person,
right.
That you can confide in, that you can trust. That maybe they can advise you. Maybe they could just listen.
Right.
Maybe they don't have all the answers.
Right.
Maybe they're just there to listen and comfort you. Be careful with the comfort and support you. I'm just saying, you gotta watch. Yeah, see where you get the comfort from. Stop.
Yeah, it's the outlet is definitely needed, because when it's too stuck in your head, the conversation between yourself and yourself, or me, myself, and I, that meeting it's never a good
badly.
one. It's never a good meeting because it's always a revolt. Everyone
burn it down.
They're all in agreement. It's going down. It's going down. It's going down.
Right.
You know, it's always a unanimous vote. So having that outside voice outside your head is always good because sometimes you get to say stuff out loud, you know, and even you saying it out loud, it helps you hear like, yeah, okay, maybe I'm going too far, or maybe I'm thinking a little bit too left, you know, and the person ain't have to say anything. They're just like, you heard yourself, you know. So it's definitely, and that's kind of like been the purpose for the purpose for forever, like the group and stuff like that, just so we can make sure we can connect with other couples that like being around each other, you know, so they can advise you, you know, in a couple like manner, you know.
English is killing me.
You know, like my
You keep making up words
I didn't. Who
and
says?
phrases.
Who sets the standard for what a word is?
The dictionary.
Why the dictionary? Who said the dictionary's right? We can just go down this rabbit hole, but we're not. So, so it is definitely good to get around other couples that are like minded, you know, that are looking for the same goals and things of that nature. But yeah, it's important that you are aware of your spouse's needs and changing seasons, and you know, like you said, they like the foot rub. Now they need a little more conversation, and understanding where they're at. Let's see. Couples like, man, there you go.
Right.
I'm just saying, don't do that. Don't do that.
Like she said, that's different. Very different.
Couple like manner. Yes. Put that down. Put that down. We're gonna check Webster for that. So it's important. It's important. And I'm a little hot. I know I was thinking that.
Can you focus?
I'm hot. I can't because I'm hot. So it's like I said, it's important that you have the conversations and know where your spouse is at and what season are we in? Are we in summer? Because it's hot. Or are you in winter? You know, where things get a little cold and you need to move a little closer to each other to bundle up, you know, in order to keep the relationship strong. Instead of going to your own corner and trying to keep yourself warm and trying to figure your own self out. Sometimes closeness definitely makes a difference.
Right. And I used to think like, why is it when I'm up, you feeling down, and then when you're down, I'm feeling up. But for a while, I felt like, why can't we be in sync? But then I realized if I'm down and he's down,
it's over.
the whole Walker Titanic has
the kids trying to figure out what to do.
Right. Like, so, I have discovered or learned to understand that it is important, like that we're totally not so in sync to where, we both bottoming out like at the same time. Somebody has to have the strength or the will to steady the ship because, it's important that when I'm down, he should be able to offer something to encourage, uplift, uphold me, and and vice versa.
Right.
So thinking that you both should be on the same wavelength all the time, I don't really think that's the answer because I think that could really, really backfire. But I will say I think it's important to have multiple seasons. Like you want to have, like 70 summers, because that's like you spend a lot of time together. Things are changing. Your relationship has longevity. I mean, you have to think of the upside to things, ever changing, ever growing. There'll be seasons where you guys are doing a lot of sewing into other people, things for other people or whatever. And then, that should make you hopeful. Because like sometimes, it seems like, okay, why is everybody always calling? No, I don't want to. But then, I think of trying to be hopeful because hopefully somewhere around this thing is going to turn and it's going to, we'll be in a place where now people are pouring into us and doing for us. All those things are definitely options. Like I said, we definitely failed this a few weeks ago. And I will say we because we were a unit and that stubborn little corner that's
Little corner.
in there hidden somewhere. It seems to pop out, every now and again. And I'm not gonna lie, I get stubborn. I'm just like, okay, well, you don't want to talk? Let's see. I can do this better. And I'm gonna show him, I'm gonna one up him that I can not talk longer. We both know, like, the eye for an eye, both y'all blind. Like, it doesn't, it's not it's not very productive. And the reality is, you love this person.
Right.
At some point in the game, you love them.
Right.
And I don't know if love dies. I do believe that love can change. But it does require work to make sure that it doesn't change to the point where you just don't want to be around each other anymore. That's where the work of relationship comes in. You have to feed the positive parts.
Right.
And although you can't just wipe out any negative unfavorable, occurrences or outcomes, you don't have to highlight it.
Right.
When things got on a better level for us, I'm just like, okay, yeah, but we still do need to kind of talk about it.
Right.
And just kind of, think about what led you to that place. For some people, they can't really backtrack well. It turns ugly.
Right.
So you kind of have to know what works
Right.
in your relationship and what works with your husband.
Right.
Because let's be honest, everybody is not Anthony Walker. So what works for he and I might not work with you and Darnell, Jason, Michael, Peter.
Right.
So, be mindful of, the things we pick up. Because a lot of times, everybody's online talking about something.
Right.
And you pick this stuff up and you go home and Peter tell you, if you don't go sit down and shut up, it's going to be a long night. So think about the things that work.
Right.
The things that work in your household. But we did, kind of talk about it. And then we talk about it a little bit so we don't get stuck in that space. And then, we talk about it a little bit another day just to kind of, make sure that we cleared up any hurt feelings that might be in there, any feelings of abandonment, those kind of things you have to be careful of. But if you never talk about it, if you don't say, I feel like you weren't there for me, how do they know next time?
Right.
How do they know that when they do this, you feel like this? Not that you made me feel, but when you do this, I feel like this. I feel like wording is extremely important.
Right.
So you can be clear on things, and if you don't have the words right away, hold off. Don't say something just for the sake of saying it, because we know you can't take words back.
Right.
You can apologize. You can sorry to the day that you die.
Right.
But some words, when you hear them, they just in there swimming around all the time. And sometimes they look at you and that word just swim right to the front. So I feel like we have to be extremely careful. You are doing a lot. Extremely careful with the wording that we use.
Don't do that. I didn't do nothing. So so like she said, we do have to be mindful of the words we use and how we relate, and like she said as well. So as for guys, listen, whatever. Sometimes we deal with stuff, we kind of let it roll off, and sometimes it can become a passive aggressiveness, where we let stuff sit, and now we're mad about something silly where we're not really mad about that. It's something else that we're mad about, or that we're bothered about, that we did not express, and we let it build up until it becomes something that's out of control. When you say it, she'd be like, you should have just said that
3 months ago.
But so what I want to tell you is your feelings matter, in the relationship, your feelings matter. If you
Men's feelings matter.
right. But so whatever needs, that you're seeking as well, just like your woman has no problem expressing hers to you, you should express yours to her.
Absolutely.
It is a reciprocation. You should not just stuff your feelings down and sit in the corner and sit in your favorite chair and just eat it, because you you should enjoy your relationship as well.
Absolutely.
Because I truly feel like that's why a lot of guys don't enjoy their relationships, because they're not expressing, some of the things they want to happen in their
Right.
relationship. So, and pause on that. I'm not excusing anybody cheating and nonsense and nothing like that. I just want to throw that out there, just in case it was like, that's why. No, I'm saying you need to express yourself in your relationship so your woman knows how you feel, knows
Absolutely.
what's going on in your head, so they're like, oh, I didn't realize your change. I thought you still enjoyed that meatloaf sandwich. No, I haven't liked meatloaf for the last 5 years. You didn't say nothing. You just kept eating it. But
Trying to say you don't like my meatloaf?
I love your meatloaf, baby. No.
I think you don't like my meatloaf anymore. But go ahead.
But so yeah, just honestly, yeah, just everybody in a relationship needs to express their feelings, whatever they're feeling or things they would like to see. Like I said, at least you have to at least express it. Give your spouse an opportunity to meet that need. Yeah, because she was like, "What's you kind of been going through this change for the last 3 years. Like, what's the deal? Oh, is that is this what you looking for? I've been wanting to stop doing that for a long time. So it's just having, and like I said, the communication goes both ways.
Absolutely.
and it's intentional. It's expressive. It's whatever's going on. Just don't. And you may not get the outcome you want or looking for, but at least you'll put your feelings on the table. Like, this is how I feel about a particular thing, so you can have the conversation. So at least some adjustments can be made, some changes. Because sometimes, if you've already decided on something and in your mind you didn't like it, but we already agreed on it, you can express it, but you like, well, we're already in this thing, so we need to kind of ride this out, pay this out, whatever it is. The person that you let move in, whatever it may be, you need to get through it, and they know that, okay, next time, well, you need to say something so we won't make the same decision, so you're not unhappy in a situation I thought you was fine with. All right. Anything else you want to share?
No, I think you shared a lot. So
Awesome.
you don't like my meatloaf.
Oh, Lord Jesus.
I got you into something you want to get out of. I see this is how we do it. See, women, like, don't do that. Don't take, don't take.
Right, because now I
Because-
ain't saying nothing else anymore,
Right.
ever.
Then he's going to feel like I can't just express myself, because now you're going to use it as a weapon. You're going to use it against me. There has to be like a no judgment, conversation free zone.
Right.
Like, you have to be able to tell me, yo, babe, look, your mom is getting on my last nerve.
Right.
Did she have to come over every week? And that has to be okay.
Right.
It needs to be okay in in your relationship to say anything.
Right. Right.
Like that I have to be able to love you at your ugliest. Now, I'm not saying be disrespectful and be crazy.
Right.
There's parameters and guidelines to everything. But I mean, as far as your feelings, what you're feeling, you should be able to definitely.
So they go through for forever.
Right. See, I know. So yeah, what you're feeling, all those things are extremely important.
Right.
Nobody that's disregarded wants to remain anywhere.
Right.
Nobody really wants to be anywhere where they're not wanted.
Right.
Men want to feel wanted and needed, just like women do. Everybody tell you like all these different things, and to be honest, they may be different for different people. So I'm not even gonna slam some of the stuff. I'll just say Know what your spouse wants.
Right.
Know what your spouse needs to feel validated. It's different
Right.
for everybody else. We look at stuff online and on TV, and people are like, "Oh, relationship goals." You don't even know these people go in the house and go in two separate directions. When they get ready to come out, then they smiling. You
Like
never
centuries,
know
never,
the inner
never,
workings.
never.
Like, don't look over there
Right.
at Peter and Mary or whatever, whoever.
Right.
Work on your own relationship.
Right.
The things you want to see, create them within your own relationship. Your relationship can be a canvas, and you two are the painters. Y'all like the Bob Ross.
Right.
You can put anything
Anything.
up there.
Right.
Make the little trees with the leaves.
My little buddies are here.
Right. So I think it's an important,
Right.
We say all the time, communication. I feel like if you can talk about it,
Right.
you can get through it.
Right.
You have to be willing to talk, though.
Right.
You have to be willing to communicate, to let people know what you're expecting, to let people know when they don't necessarily meet your expectation.
Right.
And there is a way to say it. You can't just be all the time, nothing ever satisfies you.
Right.
You might want to take a beat and take a breather
Right.
on that. You don't want to make somebody feel like everything they do
Right.
is wrong.
Right.
Okay, so what is it I need to do? What's right? What
What's
is
right?
it you want?
Right.
That I'm not supplying, that I'm not getting. What do you want from me
Right.
that you're not seeing?
Right.
Don't just talk to talk.
Right.
Like, be intentional. The communication should be to make you guys better.
Right.
And the way, to make things better is to talk about the situation. Tell them what you want. Look, babe, you went to the left yesterday, and I needed you on the right, or whatever it is.
Right.
But the important part is to weather things together. To listen, to hold hands, be a unit,
Right. One unit.
be in this thing
One unit.
together.
One marriage. One walk. No.
Except when there's foolishness.
Too soon.
What are you even doing? And see, sometimes your spouse needs a timeout. See, let me tell you guys what's happening. What's happening is his birthday is in a few days. So he is on like cloud 11. He don't know how to behave himself. His birthday's in less than a week. By the time we come back on next Monday, he will have turned
45.
Yeah.
Can't no
hold on.
kiss it.
So he will be a year older. So he really is like cutting up. He don't know what to do with all this birthday energy. But yeah, he's gonna get a timeout. He's gonna have to sit down in the corner by himself. Behave.
That ain't right.
I'm just saying.
All right. So we appreciate you guys rocking and hanging with us. You can still share, tag a couple that may need to see this. And we appreciate you guys. Make sure you listen. Oh man, I should have put it up there. Make sure you watch Sisters Legacy tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna
Tomorrow.
they're gonna talk
8:30.
about some awesome oral hygiene and have a dentist on it, a specialist talking about things that we don't know.
Right.
We don't know. Let's see. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Cut up. Give him a pass this week, right?
Yeah, the thing about the pass is, well into next week, he'll still be cut. You give him an inch and they take a mile. I give him this week, in the whole month of May, he'll just be out of pocket.
That
So we gotta
a whole month.
see no.
A whole month? Can we get
no?
So
if y'all in favor of my sanity, we got the
right.
hold it together, brother.
All right. So of course, Brother Legacy tomorrow, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
9 p.m.
9 a.m. 9 a.m. We got the 9 p.m. show as well. And make sure you stay connected so you find out everything that we're doing. Legacy Walk
always
Network,
something.
right? Text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576.
Oh, what we doing?
Join our community. Text
Yeah, what he
LWN to 84576. So we look forward to seeing you tomorrow here 2 times.
Why would we here tomorrow?
Tomorrow for brothers and sisters, a legacy. So as always, love intentionally
Love unconditionally.
and love
On
on purpose. This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Whether you're trying to up your production or just go live, StreamYard is the place to be. Go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Flocknote. Start your free text community now at bit.ly free text now. That's bit.ly free text now.